How's it going, guys? It's Carlos from the Just Fans podcast. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm doing a solo thing today. I did one yesterday with guest Tino from Tino's Time yesterday, where we were talking about White Sox Astros game. Today, the Astros played game two against the White Sox here at Minute Maid Park in Houston. Um, Pretty good win for the Astros. It didn't start off so well, to be honest with you. It was more of it started off pretty bad. The White Sox had a scored in the first inning, and it just the Astros offense didn't seem like like it was ready to go or it was ready, and we didn't start seeing really much of anything from the Astros offense. Luckily, we didn't see much from the White Sox offense either, but uh, up until like the top of the sixth inning when Chicago scored 2 runs, then the Astros answered back with 2 runs of their own at the bottom of the sixth, and suddenly we had a 3-2 game. So the White Sox were up, and then uh, going into the seventh, uh, the White Sox end up scoring. Don't score at all, and then the Astros at the bottom of the seventh they score 3 runs thanks to Jordan, and then top of the eighth, White Sox don't score anything again. Bottom of the eighth, Astros score another run, and that seals the deal all the way up to the end of the game. Astros win 6-3 against the Red Sox, against the White Sox. I keep saying Red Sox, my bad, y'all. But it was a pretty, it was a pretty good come from behind win for the Astros. Um, Honestly, it was good to see that. It just on the first game back. I didn't, it seemed obviously the Astros definitely need Jose Altuve. They don't. It just seems like there's a spark that's needed, But then it feels like the Astros right now are, they're coming off of spring training. They're getting ready to, it's just the first 2 games, but I'm glad we got this win. I think this win was much needed for the Astros, and I mean, I'm just glad they got the win, man. Honestly, uh, but it was entertaining. That does concern me a little bit. That we really couldn't get the ball rolling up until how do you call it the sixth inning. But I mean, better late than never, right? Like that's the best thing. I'm glad that we got the ball rolling after all, and it was a good game to say the least, man. I'm glad. I'm glad that we saw this win. I'm glad that they had the player ceremony at the very beginning, the ring ceremony at the very beginning of the game, where a lot of the Astros players just got their rings. It was awesome seeing Dusty Baker get his ring, for the first time, and I'm sure he's very thrilled about it. One of the coolest things that I saw today during the Astros broadcast is seeing the broadcast crew just get their rings also, and that was pretty legit. That just kind of tells you that the organization cares about everybody, no matter if you're just a player or anything, or in any position, any part of the team. Like they gave them their rings too, so that was pretty good, man. I had a lot of fun watching today's game. It started off, bad. It just started off pretty bad, but they got the ball rolling, like I said. So uh, that was good. It was fun. I'm glad they got the win. Uh, Man of the match today. I'm gonna say Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker had a game. Like this was one of those games where he had a great save, and I thought today's game, like it deserved, like, Kyle Tucker is a man, and the Astros need to pay that man. King Tuck needs to be on this team for a long time, and the Astros need to understand that. So, I'd really they need to pay him. Like that's there's no other argument besides that. Astros need to pay Kyle Tucker. So I was glad to see that. Um, Today he was a man of the match. It's funny though. What I thought was funny is that the Astros sent out a what is it? A little. They said Jordan Alvarez was a man of the match, which is he did great. Like obviously he had the 2 run RBI, like or that caused the Astros to go to get those 2 runs in or whatnot. But it was I mean, honestly, I felt like Kyle Tucker though, like shined in today's game. Like that was Kyle Tucker's game. And so I just like to see that. So some of the let me see. So the Astros currently right now are in the they're a little bit above the Angels. Just because they're 1-1, the Angels have lost their opening. So right now we got in order is the Rangers, Seattle, Oakland, Houston, and LA. The Angels. So that just like seems like a weird stance, but again, it's just 2 games. So all right, I got my guest on here right now, Marcus. Come on in, bud. How's it going?
What's going on, man? It's finally time that I come talk Astros baseball with somebody that I'm in a group chat with. I don't get that a lot.
Oh, you don't, huh? Well, I mean, you're out there in Louisiana, man. So how? I mean, y'all don't really have a team over there. Are you? Or you're originally from Louisiana? Is that correct?
Yes, I've
Yeah.
born and raised here. I did live in around the Houston area for a couple of years, and I lived
Hmm.
around Texas for 2 years. So, and I got family that live all over Houston, so it's always like a second home to me. It's always a getaway. Anytime I get to go there, whether if it's Astro games or Dynamo games, or hell, even if I get a chance to see LSU play in Texas.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad that there's like other. It's so funny because I don't think I think you're the first Astros person that I know that's outside of Texas. You know what I mean? Like we're hard to find outside of Texas, at least from my experience. But yeah, man. I know you had asked me a while ago, and I was like, I'm gonna try to find some time. And I was like, you know what? Today is a perfect day. I'm like, it was a good time too because we got that dub against Chicago, man. I don't know. So did you watch the game by any chance?
I was watching it along with four other things at the same time. I'm come from a wrestling podcast, so it's
Right.
WrestleMania weekend, and I'm watching two different wrestling shows at the same time. I'm watching the Astros on a bigger screen. I'm watching LSU baseball on another.
I
Plus,
saw that.
LSU's
Yeah.
girls basketball team made the national championship, so I was watching the Final Four. I was watching five
Nice.
things at one time. So,
That's a
as of
lot going
now,
on right now.
if I can give W's for everything I watch, I would say a 5-0. LSU's going to the national championship. LSU baseball got their win over Tennessee. Top it off, the Astros, who I think should have been 2-0, they get the win over the White Sox today, 6-3. I'm still scratching my head on how did they manage to not pull it off on opening night, and all the
Yeah.
comments and the haters comment saying, "Oh, y'all ain't winning back to back. Y'all ain't got no trash can to help y'all." All all that nonsense.
That's so funny though. Like I still think it's funny because like so yesterday I had I think he's in our group in our group chat Tino from Tino's time. I think he's in I think you're in our same group chat and I had him
Yes.
on yesterday. And he's a diehard White Sox fan and he runs his own I
Yep.
think wrestling podcast as well. And so we were talking about that. He's like, "Hey, dude, you're like the first." I think he asked me like, "Dude, you're like the first like Astros fan that's a diehard fan." And he's like, "Let me ask you a question. How did you feel about that whole ordeal? You know, because every time you mention Astros, that's always going to be the thing that comes up. Like, no matter where you are, it's always going to be the thing that comes up. And to me, it's just funny that like it's been almost 6 years and people still can't get over that.
They
You know?
act like no one cheats in baseball. Let's count how many times the Yankees cheated to win a World Series. The Red Sox cheated after we did, except we
Yeah,
got caught and we admitted it. I will still say that till the day I'm gone, even if we have more titles in the future to come. Yeah,
yeah,
we did it. We admitted it, but we're at the point where we don't even care anymore. They
yeah.
just
It's
keep
it's
hating when we're more successful.
Yeah, it's over and done with, dude. Like let it go. It happened. I was telling Tino yesterday too, and I've said this countless amount of times in my podcast. Is like the team that one of the teams that cried about it the most was the Dodgers. They were one of the teams that cried about it the most, and and they thought they were all big and bad with their Mickey Mouse trophy that they got back in 2020 when they only played like 60 games, and they cried about it the most, and I'm like, okay, if you really feel that the Astros cheated you out of the championship, like then why is it that you guys hired the guy that that banged the garbage cans as your equipment manager this year. Like you know what I mean? Like if you really feel strongly about that, then shouldn't that guy be blacklisted from the from the MLB? Like I don't know. It just seems like it's they're cherry picking what they want. You know what I mean? That's just my take on
That's,
it.
that's probably one team I hate with the most with a passion right now in
Same.
MLB is the Dodgers. The Yankees, it's like I've hated them for so long, but it's like it
Right.
doesn't even matter anymore because we know when they get to the postseason, if they come near us, they can't beat us. We swept
They
them
can't.
last year. We beat them in the 2019 pennant, and it just goes on and on. And it's crazy as I come from a family of diehard Yankee fans
Yeah.
and in Yankee royalty, and I've had people tell me all the time, bruh, you're related to a Yankees Hall of Famer and you're not a fan of them. I'm like, he retired before I was born. And when the moment I saw Jeff Bagwell for the first time, I hopped on the Astros fan base.
Exactly. Jeff, so how long? Okay, so speaking of it, so he says Jeff Bagwell. How far does your fandom start back with Jeff Bagwell? Like at the very beginning, or like somewhere towards mid career? What you would say?
I went to my first Astros game around 95, 96.
Okay. Mhm.
So they had the navy and gold colors, the
Yeah,
thin
yeah,
broken star. And what's
yeah.
crazy was that was actually my very first time in the Astrodome. And since then, we've at least once a year until they closed it down, we would make an Astros game every time we'd go to Six Flags back in the day,
Astro World.
both Astro and Waterworld.
Yeah,
My
Waterworld. That's
first
right. I
time,
forgot about Waterworld.
we had to go every year ever since I found the Bat Cave in the mid 90s.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's sorry. You're like bringing back so many nostalgic memories now of of that. Yeah. I started watching the Astros. Gosh, I lived in Northern California for like the longest time, and I think we came in the late '90s here to Houston, and then I think I started watching the Astros in '97, which was when uh, I want to say they won the for the National League. They won, I think the what was it? I can't remember what they had won that year. Give me a second. I can't forget, but they did so they I think it was did they go to the ALDS? Did they win the ALDS or ALS? Yeah, they won the ALDS, I think, and that was it, the divisional championship. But I think they got eliminated in the ALC. Excuse me, NLCS. So yeah, I keep getting used to.
Yeah,
I'm used
see,
to ALC. Yeah,
back in the they didn't move to the AL American League until
till like
2013, so 10 years ago,
2013. Yeah, 10 years
and
ago, really. So they've been, yeah.
that's when they brought back the old school look, like the H
Hmm.
and the star, which I loved the broken star. I've
Hmm.
been to back then. I've been to more games wearing that crimson and black and the pinstripes
Yeah,
at the time, but
back when they had
I,
Roy Oswald, Anthony Pettit, like Andy Pettit and like Carlos Lee, you name it, a young Jose Altuve, a very young Jose Altuve,
yeah,
also.
well, I actually have right here. Shockingly, I found this a couple years back, and then I one of the Astro games I went to, I bought one of those like display baseball cases. But when I went to
Yeah,
my first Astros game in the mid '90s, luckily, I don't know how. I wish I knew the story to explain it, but at the time, I remember when I went with my dad and them, we got there early enough and we got to watch, them practice, practice
right,
throwing in the outfield and whatnot. And if you get lucky, you might catch a baseball from a
right.
player. And they'll sign it for you. Well, I don't know if I want to take it out, but I've had this
Oh,
ball for damn near 25, 30 years. Is a signed baseball from Don Wall.
wow, that's amazing.
And you can see like this. I don't know if you can see how old it looks and see the
Yeah,
smearing of
it looks pretty worn. Yeah,
looks like there's a blood spatter on it and
yeah.
everything.
Jeez, man.
But there's like two other signatures I didn't even recognize, but I remember they always said, "Yeah, you got a baseball signed by Don Wall." And when I looked at his signature and I saw 56, I'm like, I went back and googled it. Sure enough, yeah, it was Don
It
Wall.
was down.
So
Wow, that's amazing, dude.
I always cherish that. Not to mention, of course, when I go to games, I love giveaways. And
Oh yeah.
if you recognize this, I got this in 2019. It's not the Bagwell one, but I got the Craig Biggio '05
Oh
replica
wow, that's a
ring.
good one. That is
I
amazing.
I bought this case online. I saw this. I said I gotta get it for this
Yeah,
ring.
you got to get it. Definitely.
And of
Yeah, I
course, I
have a
bought.
few. Let me see back here, but they're mostly from
I got.
last year. Uh,
Here's the 2017 ring right here.
oh, the gold. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I got.
This
I
one.
only have like the. What is it? I don't know if it. Oh, yeah, put
I,
it on camera.
I still
It's
got the
Kyle
boxes
Tucker.
too.
Oh, you got the
I
box
still got the.
also?
Yeah, they in my back room over there with a bunch of other I
Yeah,
have a Garrett Cole bobblehead when he was still playing with us.
with the Astros.
I have the ALCS replica trophy.
Yeah.
But and now I got a bigger surprise over there. Okay, and here were the last two rings from 2019 and 2021. I just don't have
Ooh,
cases for them.
dude, that's awesome. Yeah,
I went to the games and got them. Now, you ever heard of Locked On Astros?
yeah. I had a Brett Chansey, the guy that's on it. I had him on the podcast a few times. He's a friend of the show.
Town Wheelhouse, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, it's down Wheelhouse. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but I won a drawing he did back in the summertime. I won a Jose Altuve MVP bobblehead, and I won
No
it, and
kidding.
it's in there somewhere.
Oh, that's amazing. Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, dude, H-Town Wheelhouse, he's a friend of the show. He comes on every once in a while. He gave us a big shout out during our 1 year anniversary. That dude's amazing.
I hope to meet him and Brett one day. No,
Yeah, dude.
Eric. Yeah, Eric Heisman and Brett
Eric,
Chance. I
yeah,
hope to meet
it's
them one
Eric
day.
now. Yeah, Brett is a H-Town Wheelhouse. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
Eric
such
the
a cool
Man
dude.
Heisman.
Was that?
I know, and I said Eric the Man Heisman and Brett
Yeah,
H Town
yeah. No,
Wheelhouse.
they're amazing, dude. Yeah, if I ever have them on the show, if you ever want to come on while they're on, I'll let you know when I have them on again, and we'll do a
Absolutely.
little.
I'll be sure to wear Astros shirt next time. I was just wearing
Yeah.
LSU today, but I was like, I threw the hat on. I was like, I still got the hat in the corner right here. I wore from opening day.
No worries. I
Now,
have a. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
if you want to talk about a White Sox game, I was there that Friday night game where they won like 17 to like 4, and then they scored like 9 runs in the 6th inning.
Yeah.
And I saw my first ever grand slam, and I got to finally see a home run from Air Jordan. Finally, like I've seen everyone else hit a home run except Jordan Alvarez in person, and finally got one that day, and that was probably the greatest game I ever saw.
Yeah, they're scary, man. I've seen a few Jordan homers, dude. They're loud. You can hear it from anywhere you're sitting, like anywhere in the stadium where you're sitting, you can hear those. That pop is loud. He hits that ball with force, man. It's incredible. I'm willing to bet like he'll be this generation's Big Papi. You know what I mean? Like this, I'm willing to bet he's going to be that guy.
I say he's today's Jackie Robinson, basically.
Do you think so?
I say I've been saying that since he moved up. No, have you ever did a tour? Like, have you ever went toward the stadium where you got to like walk around the warning track, or go see the new suites and everything? Like,
yeah,
it was during the pandemic. I got to do it, and that was when they built the Michelob Ultra Club, and I got to go in there, and then the 2 new suites they built, the one in the outfield, 2 in the bottom. So I got to see all of them too.
Dude, those tours are great, man. It's worth the money. Like I think I paid like $25 for it, whatever it was.
Me too.
And they take you everywhere. They're very informative, and I like the fact that they take you down to the bottom of the field. They just tell you just don't touch the grass. That's it. Don't touch the grass, but everything else you can be all over it.
They told me not to walk on the grass, but I didn't go touch it with my finger or nothing. If I wanted pictures, I just stood on the warning track, and they took like one of me with the big jumbotron in the outfield.
Oh yeah.
One of them's called Torito. One of them's called Torito, and the other one's called I can't remember.
Grande.
Grande and Torito. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, dude, it's amazing. I love Minute Maid Park. Minute Maid Park is a beautiful park. This summer I went to this past summer, about a year ago almost now. I went to California to visit my brother. He lives over there, and so we went to Astros A's game over there in the how do you call it, at the Coliseum. And I went, and I swear to you, that stadium smells horrid. Like from the it's awful. Like my brother and I went. We're like, goodness, how do they have games here? It is horrid. I mean, I've only been to that stadium. I've been to the one in Arlington, but The one before this one that they built, the new one. So I went to the previous one. I can't remember what it was called, but that stadium, the Oakland A Stadium, it's a dump, dude. It's a dump.
Outside of Houston, outside of Minute Maid Park or the Astrodome, I've been in both Rangers ballparks. The old one, I've seen a crazy enough was I've never seen an Astros game in Dallas yet, but
Mm-hmm.
I was given a free ticket to watch the Yankees and the Rangers one night while we were
Yeah.
down there. So I took it. I mean, I didn't rep either team.
Right.
I was like, I get to see Derek Jeter before he retired
True.
and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a nice experience. Got to see Judge and everything. This was back in 2014. The new field, I've actually kind of snuck in it through the gift shop when I was there for WrestleMania last year. So I didn't get to go all the way to see the field, but I was just on the edge of the gift shop because they didn't close the gate. So I kind of walked right there, just got a video of that. But eventually one day I will see a game there. Hopefully the Astros play them for the boot. I've been to the old and new Yankee Stadium. I've been to Shea Stadium in Citi Field, and I've been to the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati.
Which one has been the worst one you've been at out of all of those that you mentioned?
Probably Shea Stadium.
Yeah.
They were kind of tearing it apart at the time. I mean, it was like half of it was sort of gone, but you were inside it. Like there was a lot of construction because they were still demolishing it. But where we walked, you were like, "Oh, hey, you guys are actually walking in Shea Stadium. They're just this little bit of piece is gone." They took like a quarter of one wall down, and then they still had the whole other side left. So we were basically in it while we were walking to go see the new one.
Yeah.
That was still kind of still getting touched up. Like they had like 2 or 3 months before it officially opened. This was back in 2008 when we were down in New York for Thanksgiving for a week. We went toward the ballparks.
Okay. Yeah, man. No, so you said you were doing like WrestleMania stuff. So what can you tell us a little bit about like what you do for your podcast? Like what do you do in your podcast? I'm sorry. For wrestling.
You talking about like topics?
Yeah, in general, like what do you
type of character?
Yeah, in general. What do you
Mostly we've done topics, we're known for doing like countdowns, like let's say like top 10, like I'll say for example, top 10 wrestling shows in Houston. Like we'll get our top 10 best shows. We're known for doing countdowns. We do nostalgia episodes where I like to go back and rewatch a classic pay-per-view and we review it. We do prediction shows for upcoming pay-per-views. We did our WrestleMania one last night. We'll do fallouts if we have the energy for it or if we wait a couple days. We have done interviews. We've gotten wrestlers on the show, either if they were working their ways in the indies or if they're in the big leagues now. We haven't got like no John Cena or Roman Reigns on the show. No, we've got like lower card, trying to go up to that mid card level if they've been in WWE in the past or working in Ring of Honor or AEW or New Japan. We've had some mid card guys come on our show.
Not bad.
We're trying to work on getting more. We've also have done. We kind of go on the entertainment side a bit. We don't just talk wrestling. We like to talk sports a little bit. Like we also like to do. We were talking about maybe doing movie reviews down the road, but we haven't really did it. But we have done a review on the Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix series that got a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And we've even interviewed a couple of like one particular, we interviewed a TikTok celebrity, but he passed away 3 months ago. That was heartbreaking when we heard that. But we've had TikTok celebrities on the show. We've had wrestlers. We did crossovers. We did all that good stuff. And speaking of the Astros, if you tuned in our WrestleMania prediction show last night, I've had 10 tickets for the Rangers game on Jackie Robinson Day, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to give all of them to family, so I gave 3 away on the show last night. And the winners still haven't claimed his prize yet. So, yeah, I will be down there. Me and my girlfriend's going down there on the 15th for the Astros-Rangers game. Before that, we're going to be up early in the morning. It's my 3rd time doing it. I've done it since the first year. It'll be our first year. We're doing the Race for the Dome 5K for the Astrodome Conservancy.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I still got my medals. I still got my bids on the wall from the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I I just hope we can go back inside it one day. I haven't been in it probably
They,
since '99, and I would do any. It'd be cool if like just once a season, like let it like fix
you
it
can
up.
go
Let them
in
just play one game out of 162 games. Just play one game in the Astrodome a season, like
like
the
a retro thing.
Spurs. Yeah, like the Spurs did in the Alamo Dome for basketball earlier this year. And I'm not even a Spurs
Mhm.
fan. I only
Yeah,
watched it to see if they could see 60,000 people. Felt like I was
yeah,
watching a Final Four.
yeah, yeah. I think they did that. I want to say 2017 or 20. I can't remember the year that they did that. They opened up the Astrodome one
It
day.
was 2018, I remember.
2018, that's what it was. And all you got to do was it was a line you just got to pass through it. That was it.
I would have
And
been
I was
okay with
like,
that.
same. I would have loved that, but I'm like, man, they need to do something at least. At least you can have that's a good like what you said to have one game or something or do something where at least you can preserve some part of it, because I think it's a piece of history. So great piece of
Well,
history.
I didn't, and the only reason I didn't go to that was because I was in New Orleans that weekend for WrestleMania.
There you go. I've only been to one WrestleMania, and that was WrestleMania 25. I got to see The Undertaker,
Me
Shawn
too.
Michaels. Yeah, it
Me
was
too.
at NRG. It was great. It was. It
Yep.
was. It was. So, quick question for you: do you like WrestleMania? Which of those two matches do you like best? WrestleMania 26 or the one in Houston 25, where The Undertaker faces Shawn Michaels? Out of those two, which one do you like best?
Oh, easily 25 because first
Yeah.
off, I was there. That was my first WrestleMania. Houston has been my first for a lot of wrestling stuff. Like my first wrestling pay per view was in Houston. My first WrestleMania was in Houston. My first TNA show was in Houston. My first SmackDown
Wasn't
was
it
in
Houston?
Houston. Everything else was in my backyard in Lafayette, Louisiana. First
Yeah.
Raw, first house show. AEW was also my first AEW show was in Houston. I went to my alma
Really?
mater, UH.
UH. Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, that's right. They had what was it like 2 years ago or a year ago? I can't remember what it was, or 2 to 3. I can't remember when they came in AEW.
They came twice. They came in August of 2021 and they came in May of last year. It was funny. I went to AEW Dynamite New Orleans at the
Yeah.
lakefront, and then 6 weeks later, I went back in at the Fertitta Center. But that place is too small. They couldn't even pop pyro. I'm like, why don't you go to
Really?
NRG? Just go to NRG Arena where the Comets used to play if you got to. Or
Yeah.
they're trying to go to bigger arenas now. I guarantee if they do a pay per view, they'll go to Toyota Center.
Yeah, dude. They also have. Yeah, I was gonna say we have enough stadiums. I mean, enough places or venues where they can do that. Like they can, like you said, the NRG Arena, the George. They have enough places like that. I don't think that should be much of an issue.
Well, that's where I
But
went for my. That's where I went for my only TNA pay per view at the time. They did
yeah,
it at. It was called Reliant Arena at the time. It's the little arena right next door to the stadium
yeah,
where they used to do the livestock show or whatever at the time when it's
yeah,
the rodeo season.
yeah. I mean, they used to. Was it? I think that back in the day they used to call it the Astro Arena or something like that. But
Yeah, they called it
yeah, the
Astro, and now
Astro
it's
NRG Arena. Yeah, they just
I will
changed
say
it.
that maybe the in fact I would say the crappiest stadium I've ever been to in Houston, Rice Stadium, because it's so old.
Rice Stadium is very old. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty old, and it just looks old. Like it needs you need to really revamp it. I mean, come on, wasn't one of the Super Bowls there too? Like one of the earlier on Super Bowls was there also?
Well, there was only three in Houston. The first Super
Okay.
Bowl, I swore I thought the Astrodome hosted the first Super Bowl in
No,
Houston. They said
yeah,
no, it was Rice,
it's Rush
and
Stadium.
then they didn't go back again until 2003, and then we knew what happened that Super Bowl with Janet Jackson, and then about
Mhm.
so many years later they went back, and then that's when they had the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history when the
Yeah,
Falcons blew a 25-point lead. And as a
against the
Saints
Pats.
fan, I still
Yeah,
have to stare at
you
that.
loved it. Yeah. So
I
just
do like.
what about, huh? Go ahead.
No, I was saying, I've been to a Texans game one time. Like the only other times I've been to NRG, if it was at the Houston Rodeo or WrestleMania, I've seen LSU get blown out in a Texas Bowl. And then I have been to one Texans game. It was a Thursday night pink out game when they played the Indianapolis Colts, and that was when
Ooh, was that when
Fitz
Gary had the heart attack?
no, this was when who was the quarterback for the Colts
Oh,
at the time? He used to play for Harvard. That old guy. He used to play for the Texans.
Uh,
He went to the Texans a couple years later.
how long ago was this?
Andrew Luck, 2014. So Andrew Luck
Okay.
was still with the Colts. Pat McAfee was still kicking for the Colts. They still had T.Y. Hilton. They still had Reggie Wayne for the Colts. But for the Texans, God, who was the quarterback? God, he used to play for
2014.
Harvard. He used to play for Harvard.
Harvard.
He had the
2014. See,
beard.
I've tried to repress a lot of those memories. You sure it wasn't Matt Schaub still?
No, it wasn't Matt Schaub. I'm trying to pull it up too.
I thought it was still Matt Schaub in 2014.
No,
I, let's see,
it
QB.
was
Oh, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ryan Fitzpatrick. But wait, he must have been with another team. No, it's showing Case Keenum was the quarterback at the time. I don't remember
Case
Case
Keenum was,
Keenum.
yeah, but for 2014, it was Ryan Fitzpatrick. This was
Yeah,
starter
so
at least.
I swore he was the starting quarterback,
Yeah.
and then it said Case Keenum was the QB also. But I
Yeah.
swore I remember seeing Fitzpatrick, and that was when J.J. Watt had that pick six, and he did the nay after
Yes.
returning a pick six for 59 yards.
That was from E.J. Manuel, I think, when he used to play for the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Who we had that pick from. I remember that. Yeah, it's Fitzpatrick. Is that year that they were using J.J. Watt as a tight end?
Yep.
A lot. They were using obviously his, but yeah, they were using him as a tight end. Let's see. We got. Can you imagine if the Astrodome had been rebuilt? And can you imagine the size of the rebuilt Astrodome? It would have been crazy, especially in a World Series. Oh, I agree. And then they wrote down it was Matt Schaub. Yeah, Matt Schaub. So yeah, I agree. It would have been amazing if they had just kind of like made some upgrades to the Astrodome. And they would just kept it there. That would have been to me that would have been amazing. Kept the Astros there,
When
but
you do the 5K, they have some Astro memorabilia. Like I remember they still had the colored seats. Like they had the navy, the orange, the red, the yellow, and then I sat in them, took a picture in them, and then they had like some other stuff they brought.
Oh yeah,
when we did the 5K.
Oh yeah, dude, those are amazing. Have you? There's a brewery you should try. It's called Eighth Wonder Brewery. I don't know if you've been here been to it. It's Eighth Wonder Brewery. It's over there by downtown, but they have like the
That's
original
where I
Astrodome.
park. Yeah,
Oh, is
that's
it?
where I park.
Yeah. Okay, so they have the like the Astrodome seats like there also, and you just kind of hang out and stuff. It's pretty cool. I like that place.
I'm not a fan of a lot of the beer at the Eighth Wonder Brewery, but my cousins go there all the time, and they tell me this is the best place to park. If you're going to a Dynamo game or an Astros game, it's only $15 instead of paying 40 or whatnot. And yeah, I never been to a Dynamo game, but me and my co-hosts are going in May, so that'll be my first time ever in that stadium. Now it's called Shell Energy.
Keep up with us, and then let's just message us up because we go to Dynamo games every once in a while. So if you're out in the area, just let me know. Just text me or whatever, because most likely we're part of the I'm part of the Texian Army, which is like the Dynamo fan base stuff too.
Yeah.
So just let me know, and then we'll hang or something.
Yeah, we'll hit you up. We can go to I want to take my co-hosts to the Eighth Wonder Brewery. We'll park over there. Yeah. We'll take them there, and
for sure.
It's called Shell Energy Stadium now. But
yeah, it's been through so many names. It was PNC Stadium last year, so it was. So it goes to different things, but hopefully they do pretty decently because they have not been good for the last few years.
I love the renovation, but I don't know if I can do with the little baby blue seats.
Yeah, exactly. Is that you or me?
I think it's me. It's an ad. I thought I had it on mute.
I got you. All right, man. Well, I'm about to call it a night because I got to go to bed. So thanks for joining me on the podcast. We got to have you on more often. And if, how do you call it, to talk Astros? It's a long season, first 2 games of the season. So we'll hit you back up and you come and join us, talk some Astros once in a while as well with us.
Absolutely.
And if we ever have H-Town Wheelhouse back in, we'll have you in also.
Absolutely. I'll have the bobblehead to show them. And then I know I didn't get to share a static. I'm sure you already shared the stats on the game. I had them ready in case I had to share them too.
Oh, go for it, dude.
I'll have to. Oh, I mean, they didn't. It was 0-0 until they got. I mean, no, it was 1-0 until they got. They didn't score 2 runs until the 6th inning.
Yeah.
Whatnot.
Yeah, it was a good comeback from behind game. I just to me like just knowing the Astros, I'm like, come on, this should have been easy pickings for them, But you do picture, you have Altuve out, you have Michael Brantley out, you have some people out, but what I'm hoping is like the thing that did not improve, that hasn't improved is the getting on base, man, and that's what I hope. I don't want to see. I also don't want to see Jake Myers on the team anymore. I just don't. Jake
Yeah.
Myers has been a really not a good addition.
I
They
think
should have
I
just
think I
kept
got
Chas McCormick.
I went crazy when Kyle Tucker homered to center. Like when I saw
Mhm.
that, and then Abreu scored, I'm like, thank God we got some life left.
Yeah,
I don't know about these new rules. I mean, the bases are bigger now. They got that clock for the pitchers. I can't really do that. But what's your also take on Justin Verlander's issue right now?
yeah.
It's crazy.
He got injured right with the Mets.
He's out. He's out
Is that?
indefinitely. Right before their game started, I think he was supposed to start, and he got hurt. Something with his hand.
Yeah. No. Honestly, we had a feeling that he wasn't gonna come back after that contract because he wanted a bag. He wanted the bag, and I know the Astros weren't gonna go for it. So I already knew that wasn't gonna happen with Justin Verlander. Um, but I didn't know who was going to take him, and the Mets took him. And honestly, right now, it seems I think we did the right choice for now. I
Oh
don't
no.
think they weren't gonna pay him. Fromber yesterday had a pretty good 5 innings. I like Fromber Valdez. I like him as our ace. Christian
Yeah.
Javier is our second man. I like him today. He had like a little shaky game. I don't think he's ever had that many walks or hits on him in a long time like he did today. But we're just starting out, so you can't really, we can't really, go on him for it because it's just the first game back for him since I think since the WBC games that he was playing in.
Yeah.
But
And I love
I
I
like
love
Javier.
I also love Jose Arquidi and Luis Garcia, but
Yeah,
man,
I think
you think let me
Garcia
turn
should
this
be playing
crap.
tomorrow. I think Garcia's like the third man up because I know it's supposed to be Lance McCullers Jr., but Lance
Yeah,
is out for a little while. He's hurting,
yeah,
but
I was wondering when
yeah,
he was coming back too, or if he's
yeah,
still playing with us
yeah,
with
I-
Sugarland. By the way,
yeah,
I did while I was on vacation, I did a little 3 day trip like that. Like I've always wanted to do something like that. I did it last year. Uh, week of my birthday, I went to the Monday Night Baseball game against the Red Sox, wearing the
yeah,
Space City uniforms, even though we lost. The next day, I drove to Corpus and went to my first Hooks game. That was
yeah,
fun. I got to go to Whataburger Field, but man, it was so hot down there. And then the day before
yeah.
my birthday, drove back to Sugarland and went watched the Space Cowboys play the Express. And let me tell you, that is the best minor league ballpark I've ever been to. Constellation Field. It's got a
Yeah.
splash pad. It's got a tiki
Great.
bar. It's got a swimming pool. People
Yeah,
in the
it's great.
outfield.
Yeah,
I
Constellation
would.
Field is amazing. I love it. Sugarland.
I
I think
would.
they spent like 30 million trying building that park, and it's great. I love that park. It's the best minor league field park I've been to as well. It's
I'll
amazing.
be lucky. I'll be lucky if I ever want to make that long drive back to Corpus again. But I will definitely go to another Space Cowboys
Yeah.
game. Those are so fun.
Oh,
It's so cheap. I sat behind home plate and I only paid like $15.
yeah, that's about right. We did that last year too. Me and my coworkers, my co-hosts, and I'm like, guys, I'm paying, and I was like, it's only like $15, and so we went, and yeah, like you said, we sat behind home plate. It was a great experience.
I don't have none on me, but if I ever come back home next time, I'm gonna pick up some Crawford Bach, and I'm gonna
Oh
drink
yeah,
it on the air.
Crawford
I
Bach
love it.
rules, man. We have a segment on our podcast. Usually, it's called it's one of our co-hosts named Rios. We call it Rios' Beer of the Week, and he does a lot of homegrown stuff too, like home beers also. So it's always amazing to have, man. It
I
tastes
love
great. I
it.
love Crawford Bach. Crawford Bach rules.
The only dark lager I'll ever drink,
Yeah,
definitely. And I have sat. I've been to one game in the Crawford box. Crawford box is awesome,
yeah, it is.
and
Yeah.
I'm still haven't met Mattress Mac yet. One day I will meet
Oh, we
him,
will.
but I have met Bobby Dynamite. He's a cool guy. I love the train
Oh, did
guy.
you really?
Oh, I ran into him at a fan fest one year, and
Yeah,
he's a heart loving dude. And I was like, I love the train. Like
yeah.
time to score a home run, you just drive it forward.
You just hear
I
it.
always I asked him a hilarious question. I was like, "Have you ever drove through while the fireworks popping and you almost got blown up by a firework?" But he laughed. He's like, no, they tell him when
No.
to go.
Yeah, they tell him when they're like, all right, clear. All
But
right, man.
I've been to a Friday night fireworks are awesome too. I've been to that
They
White
are.
Sox game. I tell you that. So
They're
yeah.
amazing, dude. They're amazing. Marcus, thanks for joining me on the show today, bud. I gotta run, but thank you. Like I said, we gotta have you on more often. I appreciate you jumping on. It was like last minute.
Yep.
But again, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. Anything you're promoting or anything that you're doing this weekend? I know you for WrestleMania weekend. What should we follow you on?
You can find me on Twitter at MarcusElite337. The podcast is on Twitter at World Elite Pod. We're also subscribed to us on YouTube, Twitch, and on Facebook. We're all there as well. It's
All right.
just WrestleMania weekend. It's going to be exciting, and I know in 2 weeks I'll be in Houston for that Rangers game where we did that ticket giveaway. Maybe down the road I could come on then, maybe before
Oh
the
yeah.
game or after the game and share my experience.
Oh
We'll
yeah,
plan
definitely.
something.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely plan something. We're gonna keep in touch, Marcus. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on the show, and guys, please check out Marcus at Marcus Elite 337. That's his Twitter, and also the World Elite Pod. Is it World Elite Pod or World Elite Podcast? I'm sorry.
World Elite Podcast, but
Yep.
our Twitter name's World Elite Pod.
At World Elite Pod. There you go, guys. Check him out. Great content, and I highly recommend the World Elite Pod. Thank you, guys. Thank you again, Marcus, for joining me, dude. I appreciate you coming on the show,
Thank
and
you,
we'll
man.
definitely have you back on talk more Astros with us. All right, man. And yes,
Absolutely, man.
you're gonna share your experience with us as well when you come back. All right, brother.
Yep.
Thanks again,
Yep.
man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
See y'all. Peace.
Later.